Welcome to Average Joe's Gym's Home Projects, where we do projects and maintenance at home that even an average Joe can accomplish. In today's episode, we're going to install some mirrored sliding closet doors in my daughter's bedroom. It may sound like a difficult project that not many would want to tackle, but it's definitely something that's doable for the average Joe. Let's do it. As you can see, Max has decided to grace us with his supervision for this project. I bought these doors at Lowe's, but you can pretty much pick them up at any door store. This type of door has a rail that gets mounted to the floor for the doors to roll on. It also comes with a guide that you mount to the top of the doorway to keep the doors in line. So the hardest part of this project is getting the rails the right length. They come a little extra long so that you can cut them to the size you need. I cheated and used the rail that was mounted to the top of the doorway in the closet still from the old doors. I only had it still because I was too lazy to take it down and throw it away. So I just lined it up on one end and marked it with a pencil. If you don't have the old hardware, you can always use a tape measure and just measure the distance across the top of the doorway. You need some type of stability to hold the rails in place when you're cutting with a saw. 2 pieces of scrap 2x4 should do the trick. Just so you know, even with those in there, it doesn't always go as planned. The metal's very thin, and even if you have a really good saw, you better make sure your battery is fully charged. Unfortunately, my first battery didn't have enough juice to make it through the cut. There's always something. But I had another one on the charger, so just a few minutes lost, and we'll get right back to the project. Fresh battery, just like a hot knife through butter. Even Max approves with his patented smile and a tail wag. Now it's time for the floor rail. I just reused the same guide and made my measurements, and then went right back to the cutting. I decided to use the same 2x4 just to give it a little bit of stability to hold it while I cut it. Using the Sawzall just wouldn't hold it still enough to get through that outside hard covering. So I decided to go to a hand hacksaw just to get the first groove so I could get the power saw blade in there. As you'll see, once I got the first groove for the blade to fit in there, it went right through no problem. You're going to want to mount the guide in there first. That's the first part, and when you line up the doors to install them, you're going to need to have it in there. There's pre-drilled holes in there to show you where the screws are going to go. Makes it a lot easier if you have a little help, but you can do it holding it with one arm and using a power drill to drill them in after that. Now it's time to install the guide on the floor. I'm lucky and we put carpet over the top of a wood floor, so all I have to do is drive some screws down into the guide. If you just have standard carpet over cement, it's going to cause a little more of a problem for you. You're going to have to cut the carpet and install a small piece of wood underneath it. You'll have to glue the wood to the cement and then use screws to attach the guide to the piece of wood once it's dried. It's definitely a lot more work than what I'm doing here. Once the track and guide are installed, it's time to bring in the doors. You're going to want to install the most inside door first. You're going to start with the top with the bottom kicked out, and then you'll bring the bottom in once you can lift the door up inside the guide. The first adjustment you need to make is to push these plastic feet up into the guide. There's one on each side of the door. I'm sure you've noticed that once you get the wheel onto the track, the door is still too low to ride in the guide slot you need it to. That's why you need a Phillips head screwdriver to help raise the door on the wheel and get it into the slot. You'll have to do it on both sides because you want it to be even. If you do just one side, it's going to be crooked and it's not going to close on the edge. There are a lot of adjustments that need to be made in this part of the install. You're going to make those adjustments by sliding the door to the closed position on each side, then adjusting the wheel height in order to get the crack to be as small as possible. Thank goodness I have Max here to supervise and make sure I get it right. The second door is going to be the exact same install. It's just going to go in the slot in the front. So here it is, a finished installed sliding closet door with mirrors for your kids' room. If you enjoyed this project, please check out our other projects on Average Joe's Gym's home projects. And please like and subscribe for future projects.